question I get asked a lot from new clients is, should I put my money in all at once, which is called lump sum investing, or should I do what's called dollar cost investing and put my money in over time? So frankly, it's a question as old as investing itself. So let me share with you kind of the basics, and then we'll go from there. So first off, what is dollar cost investing? And let me use an example. Let's say you have $12,000 that you want to invest, just for easy math. You really have two choices. You can do a lump sum investment and put all $12,000 into your stock or retirement account, however your portfolio is based. Or you can put that money in over time, maybe $1,000 a month. So over a 1-year period, you get that $12,000 invested. So hopefully that makes sense what the question is. And you know, a lot of people would simply give you the math and say the odds are in your favor if you do lump sum investing. They're dramatically in your favor, actually. There's been multiple studies that have been done and show that it's about 80% in your favor. Lump sum investing outperforms 80% of the time over various investment cycles. So, but just because that's what the odds are doesn't mean you should do that, right? I mean, I'm recording this here in Las Vegas. I have another layover at the Las Vegas airport. My flight got delayed, so I came down the strip to record, and I thought this would be a good video to talk about it, because just like you know, different games here, different gambling strategies have different odds. They don't build beautiful buildings like this behind me, or the Eiffel Tower on the other side of me at the Paris. They don't build those things because the odds are in your favor. They build those things because the odds are in their favor. But you know, these are institutions, and as individuals, we're much more susceptible to behavioral biases, and the biggest one is the regret of loss. For most of us, the pain of losing money is much higher than the joy of gaining money. So the statistical answer is lump sum investing outperforms dollar cost averaging in 80% of the investment periods. But it depends on who you are as a person. If you're likely to experience a lot of pain, the challenge with that, you're likely to experience a lot of pain if you happen to get unlucky and do a lump sum investment right before a period like, God forbid, a financial crisis or the start of COVID. You know, the start of COVID was a very scary period in the stock market. It was the fastest 30% drop in stock market history. And a lot of us didn't know, you know, could this cause a depression? Could things go from being down 30% to being down 60% really quickly? So it depends on who you are and what you're likely to do. So again, dollar cost averaging is going to reduce your fear of missing out, FOMO, because if the stock market goes lower, well, you've got more money coming in future months. And if the stock market goes higher, well, you're happy about the dollars that you put in earlier. So, and it's also the one that I think is most likely to minimize regret, unless you're really picky and you're like, I should have done lump sum investing. But I find that most people that do dollar cost investing don't look back and regret not doing lump sum investing. But people that do lump sum investing, sometimes it does cause pain. So again, a lot of financial advisors will talk to you about, well, this is the market period we're in. You know, the economy's doing great. I think you're better off doing lump sum because I think the market's going to be higher in a year. Not me personally. I'm just giving you an example. But you know, if you know what the market's going to be doing a year from now, you can make a lot more money than the difference between dollar cost investing and lump sum investing. So the reality is, on a short period of time like that, none of us know, is the stock market going to be higher or is the stock market going to be lower a year or not. So I think it really comes down to who you are. Now, I need to say, this is not financial advice. I don't know your specific situation, but I can give you things to think about, and then you make the decision that's right for you. Do your own research. Maybe reach out to a fee-only financial advisor. You can just Google that term to find somebody to work with and help them work with you. They understand your specific situation and can give you advice dedicated specifically to you. Okay, let's keep going. So that's the advantages of dollar cost averaging. The biggest one is you're less likely to experience regret, and you're less likely to experience fear of missing out. The lump sum investing. So why does lump sum investing outperform most of the time? The reason it outperforms most of the time is historically the stock market goes from lower left to upper right, meaning that companies do things in aggregate better, faster, cheaper every year, and over time their earnings improve in aggregate, and the stock market recognizes that and values that, and over time the stock market tends to go up. In fact, historically, depending on the time period you look, the long-term average of the stock market is over 8% a year, depending on what periods you use for start and stop and what you call the stock market. So that's long-term. That's why the lump sum investing works most of the time. Some of the advantages of lump sum investing is you're more likely, or you're going to more quickly hit the threshold, the timeline for long-term capital gains, and that can be beneficial. It's basically you have to own a stock over a year in order to qualify for long-term capital gains. That gives you a lower tax bracket, gives you some advantages if you want to donate that stock to a charity. It's also easier, right? You make one-time decision, but the biggest disadvantage is the risk that you get unlucky and the stock market drops shortly after you make your investment. So that's the risk, and I think instead of looking at what market cycle that we're in, I think most people are much better off looking at who am I as a person, and am I likely going to blow out of the market because of the pain if I feel like I made a mistake. Because if you do that, it's going to dwarf any difference between dollar cost averaging and lump sum investing. So, if you were a machine, if you didn't experience emotions, we're human beings, but you do lump sum investing every time, but we're not machines. And I've helped a lot of people think through this. I can tell you, when people get unlucky, even with a modest correction, like 10%, it can cause a fair amount of pain. So just be careful as you decided. And ultimately, if you're the type of person that kind of second guesses your decisions, if you follow the stock market very closely, if you're likely going to beat up on yourself and say, oh, I should have known a recession was coming, I should have known the stock market was going to go down, then I think dollar cost averaging is going to be a better match for your personality. Again, work with somebody that knows your specific situation. But that's kind of how I look at it. Let's see what else. Okay, and then the last thing is, decisions are important. Decisions matter. And you want to be honest with yourself. You want to be honest about who you are. And if you're wondering, how do I know if I'm likely to blow out? Maybe you didn't blow out during 2008, 2009. You did not blow out during COVID, right? That was a very quick correction. Had that gone on for 2 years and the market went down 30% and stayed down 30%, that would have been a much more difficult period. So if you want to get a better feel for how do you understand if you're likely to blow out of the market, if you're at risk for that, because that's a huge problem if you are likely to blow out on that. And so if you want to learn more about that, if you want to learn how to protect yourself from that risk, and I can tell you for most people, if they're retired and this is their entire nest egg and they're 100% in the stock market, the vast majority of people, that's not a match, because the volatility is just going to be super painful for them. It is a match for some people, but certainly not all people. So if you want to learn more about that, watch my video here where I talk about, how do you determine if you're at risk of blowing out of the market at the wrong time. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. As the kids say, thumbs for likes and subs for love. If you haven't subscribed, think about subscribing. Leave me a comment. I do read the comments. I find them super motivational. So thank you to those of you that have. And until next time, I'm Azul, encouraging you to take full advantage of the youth of your senior years. Remember, you're only young once. Let's use our time wisely. Bye-bye.